Today we welcome Blackpool to Bramall Lane with Sheffield United continuing to top the table. Following a frustrating defeat away at Stoke City, the Blades are looking to bounce back with victory here at Bramall Lane. The Lane, of course, has been a fortress this season, having taken 13 points from a possible 18, United scoring 12 times in the process and conceding just 3. In today's show, we're going to be hearing from James Mcatee in an SUTV live exclusive and getting the pre-match thoughts of Tommy Boyle and manager Paul Heckingbottom in the build-up to today's match. Kickoff at Bramall Lane is just an hour away, and for all the match pass information and broadcasting regulations for today's game, go to the website fcufc.co.uk, and there are the broadcasting regulations and the match pass information. Well, a very good afternoon to you. I'm John Rawling, and looking forward, hopefully, to United getting back to winning ways after 2 consecutive defeats. I'm joined in the studio here today by Ellie Wilson, current member of the Sheffield United team, and Asaba, legend of the United team from not so many years ago. And I guess the first obvious question for both of you is how much is on it today? Let's start with Ellie.
Yeah, it's an important game, isn't it? We haven't had the best of results recently, so we want to hit the ground running and try and put things right, particularly being at home again.
Carl, this is, I suppose, one way you look at all the potential opponents, and despite the fact they played well last week, Blackpool, this is one where United really would be hoping for 3 points.
Yeah, I think United want 3 points every home match. The main thing for us is just to put an end to the recent run of defeats.
And last week, a little bit flat?
Yeah, I think I've not seen a match this season where I haven't had, admiration for the way the boys played. They either applied themselves well or played really good football. I think last time against Stoke, it just needed to be a direct performance. And unfortunately, we weren't able to match Stoke, and I felt we didn't deserve to win.
Well, for one reason or another, it certainly didn't happen last week. We'll talk about it in more detail in just a moment or two. But first of all, enjoy, if that's the right word, the highlights of that 3-1 defeat once again.
United get this championship contest underway, looking to bounce back from that midweek defeat. Mcatee with a little touch on for Cadra, looking for Mcatee again, who's burst into the area. That was a real opportunity. Smallbone gets it from Baker. It goes from Jagielka, lovely cross, and Stoke City have the lead. It's Ben Wilmot, struck it beyond Foderingham, lovely ball to the far post, neat finish for a defender, not the start United were looking for. Blades are behind. Here's Doyle, bit of room for Tommy Doyle, takes it early. Here comes the corner towards John Egan, and Gordon rises, it's headed off the line. Mcatee gets the cross in, wonderful ball, and Brewster's there for United. First goal of the season for Ryan Brewster. Somehow Mcatee dug that cross out from the byline, and United on level terms thanks to Brewster. Mcatee and Jai rolls his man, hits the post and hits Bursic, and fortunately for the goalkeeper, it stays out. Goes across, decent header, it's there, and it's that man, the former Blade, Phil Jagielka, who's given Stoke City the lead just before half-time. It's his first ever goal for Stoke City, and United hit in the dying embers of the first half. Doyle with a cross, dangerous ball in. We're in the final minute. Ollie Norwood from a long way out. Norwood! Clipped nicely down the middle from Baker. Campbell now, across goal, and tucked away by Delap. Surely that's the 3 points now for Stoke City. It's a substitute, his first goal for the Potters, and Sheffield United trail by 3-1.
Well, great if you're a Stoke City fan, not so good if you're a Blade. As for Ryan Brewster, well, he got that goal, his first of the season. He was delighted to be on the score sheet, but obviously disappointed with the outcome.
Yeah, of course, I'm happy with the goal, but ultimately I'm disappointed in the result, come away to lose 3-1, is really, really disappointing. Obviously, I'm happy to get the goal, but yeah, I'd rather not score, play well and get the 3 points, and obviously results kind of went our way today, but yeah, it would be nice to be here and speaking to you, whether it's scored and winning the game.
How hard is it to adapt when you kind of change in formation? I know it's particularly at the back, but from a forward perspective, looking at that, and particularly when you've played with a distinct style for so long.
Yeah, of course it's a bit different, but I think we're all good enough players to adapt to, because we've all played different formations in our career, and before the game, Mcatee was saying to us, we're all most of us are like under 21 Ellie international players, and it's like we're all good enough to adapt and play it. And I think obviously the first 20 minutes I didn't think we were good enough today, and I think everyone knows that as a team, not just me. And then I think obviously we got back in the game and stuff, but it's just, like I said, we're good enough to adapt, and I think we didn't adapt the first 20 minutes.
There are some big lads in that Stoke City team, and United, with their mobility and their pace, I think frustrated that they weren't going to be able to exploit that. And Paul Heckingbottom, when he spoke afterwards, he was obviously disappointed, knew it was going to be tough, but particularly at the timing of that second goal.
Listen, we didn't have the biggest team. We knew we'd be struggling for markers and things, but we conceded from the set plays, which is disappointing. And the second goal, right in that stroke of half-time. And then we didn't have, as much as we battled second half, and regardless of which bodies we threw on, we didn't have that guile and the quality to get the goals we needed. I thought the third goal was harsh on the players, but you're going to be a little bit more open, and there was a naivety to the goal we conceded, but it was harsh, the third goal, but it's the way it goes.
I suppose irrespective of the personnel available, the change in formation, it is that defensive nature of the goals conceded that it probably frustrated you today the most.
Well, it's set plays, regardless of whether we played back 3, back 4, back 5, back 6, whatever, set plays. Yeah, so that's the disappointing thing. Like I said, the nature of the goals, but I wouldn't set a team up like that. You know me, there's not a chance. People can't tackle, can't run, can't track. You won't be in successful teams. But we had to take risks today with the personnel. We had to try and be that team that got on the good side of these attacking moments either way. So in open play we probably did, but in set plays we didn't.
Well, took the risk, but Asaba, it most definitely didn't work out.
Yeah, the highlights show we had quite a few moments on their goal, but being at the game, I saw a completely different thing. The team lineup, you thought we had so much pace up top, we were just going to turn them and exploit their age at the back, but we didn't do it. We had some great chances to take the lead, we didn't take the lead, but our general play wasn't as it has been all season. Against QPR and against Birmingham, where we didn't have the best results, we still played really well. I just felt it was just an anomaly. I can't even say the word. It was just a bad match where we didn't play to how we normally do. Just really frustrating because the team we put out was good enough to get 3 points.
Ellie, we heard Rhian Brewster there talking about the difficulty of that new formation, and clearly he hadn't felt particularly comfortable in it, and people found it adapting to it tough.
Yeah, for sure. I think as a player, Rhian touched on it in that interview there, that you have to be prepared for different formations. Every player has played different formations, different tactics, and it's something that, your job is to adapt to that. But at the same time, when personnel is different and, the flow of the game can be affected by different formations, it can play a part in it. So, yeah, for whatever reason, that day it didn't click, and hopefully, slotting back into a formation that is more familiar will have a positive effect.
United have been going so well. I mean, sweeping away at the top of the table. How much of a reality check has the last 2 weeks been?
Well, yeah, I don't think the boys have been complacent or got carried away. I think it's down to the injury crisis. If we had a settled team, the boys have been playing fantastic. They've been playing on the top of their game. the manager's been able to make substitutions for other really good players who have affected the game. We've fallen foul to the injury curse that's hit us for the last 12 months.
So having said that, you know, I mean, how much of a blow would it have been to morale, and how important is it that they immediately make some sort of a bounce back?
Yep, we've had a bad run. We're top of the table. We're a great team. You know, they've got to be angry that they lost, but they've got to remember, look, we're really good. You know, get back to what we were doing where teams couldn't live with us. And they continue. I believe they need a reaction here in front of the home fans, because we've had 2 home games where we've not really given the fans much to cheer about, and we need to get the fans going. And Hecky and his team will know this. You know, they know how important it is, the connection with the fans.
Well, like the, 28,000 or so people who are going to be here today, and all the many more sort of armchair Blades fans who keep a check on results, I guess to an extent I'm one of those, Ellie. And looking at the table, it still gives you great optimism about the rest of the season.
Yeah, it definitely does. You know, we're in a really good position despite recent results, and that's just credit to how strongly, you know, we started. The flow of the game, the flow of the football that we were playing, and getting those results on the board at that time was really important. And you know, you are going to hit rough patches throughout the season, so hopefully this is just one of them, and it's a short one, and it can come to an end very soon. Absolutely.
Well, we all hope that. And when you look at the form of the last 5 matches, there you go. It was all going brilliantly, wasn't it? Those wins there, the win Swansea, last-minute goal there, victory as well in the next one against Preston, and then the home draw, and then a couple, and then the defeat against Stoke City coming up there.
Yeah, but it's not like a blip where people say, oh, we're having a blip of form, where Liverpool have had the same team out and their form's gone. We haven't. We're suffering from injuries. So it's hard to be critical. Yes, we've not won, and the performances haven't been the same as they were at the start, but it's because of personnel. That's why I think we've got to keep getting behind the lads, because they've done so well when the team was settled and we had a strong team. You've got to believe in them. When these men start coming back, we are the team to beat still.
I know earlier on I said that this was, you know, I guess when you look at the table and the teams you're going to be facing, who you're going to be up against, Blackpool would be one of those you'd be optimistic of taking 3 points from, Ellie. But, you know, they were good last week, and they clearly can play. That victory against Watford really does command some respect.
Yeah, 100%. You know, we can't go into any game thinking any differently other than it's going to be a tough fixture, you know, and particularly for Blackpool off the back of that result, they're going to be flying high in confidence. You know, they've scored some great goals as well. Yates, you know, those finishes were...
Those goals last week that he scored, wow.
Yeah, I know, fantastic finishes. So something that, you know, we'll have to look out for today, but for Blades, it's just important to try and turn that around and get on top of the game early.
United's next 5 coming up. You know, I mean, obviously they want to get big rewards from that, and those are games that we've got that we're heading for. But it's important. Consider those by all means, but don't look past today.
No, I wouldn't even look at. I'm not looking at those, because it's about today, and you don't know what team you've got. So there's no point saying we're going to get 3 points there, 1 point, because we don't know what team we're able to field. Let's just see what team we've got available on the day and try and win it. The manager's got a team, again, he'll think he can win, and just do that and see who he's left with after the 90 minutes.
Okay, well, you've steered me nicely into our next little segment here, because we've got the Sheffield United team today, and this is the personnel. Notice there, no Brewster, no McBurney. There are changes. Any thoughts on that one, Carl?
The manager knows he trains with the boys each day, and he's picking a team to win. As you say, we're armchair. We get a glimpse and we pick our team. Personally, I would have had McBurney and Brewster in the starting 11. But the manager knows best, and he wants 3 points.
We've got kind of given it a little bit of a guess of what the formation's likely to be, and it looks as though it's going to be rejigged possibly in this manner, Ellie, although whether or not the lad on loan from Manchester City plays up front remains to be seen. It might just be Njai and Sharp up there.
Yeah, we'll see, you know, when the lads line up, but it might be a slightly different role, you know, playing a little bit higher up on the pitch. Obviously, formation-wise, it might suit us a little bit better if that is what we go with. So it'd be interesting to see, but we've got strength on the bench. You mentioned McBurney, Brewster. You know, we've got players that can come on and make an impact as well.
Yeah, I mean, there are people looking at the strength on the bench, Carl, and they'll be thinking that some of the people who potentially could be coming on, you know, they'd like to see them there starting off. Are you surprised that McBurney's not got a starting berth?
I am, but we're talking, we've got the GOAT playing, so it's hard to not argue for Billy. The leading goal scorer in the Championship's coming in.
First
can't be
start since
disappointed.
August, is it?
Exactly, and we saw last year when he had a run in the team, his fitness was brilliant and his performances were brilliant. I'm upset for McBurney because I just think he's in a good vein of form. He's been playing well, been scoring, and that's what we wanted from him. I'm a little surprised Brewster's not playing in place of Mcatee personally. I think he's been doing well. He's scored in his last game, so we don't know what's gone on at the training ground, whether there's niggles, but that bench, now those players are coming back, when they're incorporated into the starting 11, that's when you expect us to go on a run, because we've got those players are proper players.
How important to the overall mindset of the team is it that Billy Sharp's back there in a starting berth? Does that automatically give people a bit of a lift? I don't suppose it gives Ollie McBurney much of a lift, but the team as a whole, is that something that's going to make them more buoyant?
Yeah, I'd say so. You know, when you've got a striker in Billy Sharp coming back into the team, we know what he brings in terms of his quality, and he's shown that season on season. So there's definitely a lot of confidence players around him can take from that. You know, he's a leader as well. And in terms of the guys on the bench, you mentioned, you know, McBurney, it's healthy competition, so hopefully that can drive everybody's standards up as well. Absolutely.
Well, we hope that we're going to see standards very much going up today. And of course, we talked to the players before the match started, when they arrived here at Bramall Lane, and one of them was a former Blackpool player in Chris Basham. He's been obviously aware of the injury problems that we've had throughout the club here at Sheffield United at Bramall Lane, and he gave his thoughts on the situation to Matt Young.
Well, Chris, injuries have dominated proceedings in recent weeks, so how have preparations been coming into this one?
Yeah, it's been great to see some lads coming back, to be honest, albeit they've trained a couple of days, but they're back. It's great to have them back. Preparations, as always, we're excited for the game at home. Back to winning ways, still top of the league, which is great, obviously after a bad week of results for us, but got to bounce back. This is what this league's about, and hopefully we can.
You managed a full week on the training ground with no midweek games. How big a boost was that?
Yeah, I think that was the important thing of just getting ourselves back in, getting ourselves refocused on the game ahead against Blackpool, which is going to be a tough game. They hit a great result on the weekend just gone, so they'll be full of confidence, but so are we. We're top of the league, we're excited for the game, and we want to show the fans what we're all about.
You've had a strong run in the side. How pleased have you been with your personal performances of late?
Yeah, I've really enjoyed it. Obviously, I'm never pleased with my performances when we get beat and don't keep a clean sheet. I had a good run of clean sheets, and then we've gone on and lost two in a row, so I'm not happy about that. So hopefully we can put that right. Keep fighting for the team. Hopefully the lads can come back and help us as well. So it's not about me, it's about the team, and hopefully we can get the results to show that today.
And Blackpool today, of course, a former club of yours.
Yeah, and played, I think, heading into 90 games for them. I really enjoyed my time there, especially when I got playing after about a couple of years. So, fantastic club, supported very well, and I'm sure they'll be hunting for a result today.
Go well today, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Well, we talk a lot about Sheffield United's attacking capabilities, Carl, but have there been frailties shown in defence, maybe? How happy are you at the way they're looking defensively?
Well, they've conceded a few goals in the last couple of games, but they've still got the best defensive records. We've got so many clean sheets, you've still got Wes pulling out great saves. I just think you can't really be critical. They're top of the league. You know, they're doing so well. They've just got to get back to, you know, I think Anel was huge. You know, I think he surprised us all. He's come in and we've actually missed him. We've got Bash playing, who's been great, but we've still missed Anel. Now he's back. There's more competition. The players will know that they've got to put in a performance, because you've got the starting boys coming back, and a massive plus is Robbo's back on the bench.
and Anel back on the bench, close to, well, we assume getting close to fitness. That's another lift.
Yeah, it's a massive plus for the side. Obviously, we've seen how well he started the season in both boxes, to be fair. You know, he was strong in defence and contributed massively in that sense, but he was also scoring goals at the other end. So, you know, as soon as he's back in, that's going to be another boost for the team. But equally, it provides, like I said, with the strikers situation, a lot of competition, and there's a fight for places as well.
Well, let's just turn the mood for a moment and look back at, well, one of the highlights of the month, because it's our Goal of the Month winner, and we've awarded it to Rida Kadra for this.
The substitute Stevens into the penalty area. One last chance for Patterson, who beats his man. Great sliding challenge by Basham. Brilliant sliding challenge in the left-hand side of the box. He's earned his stripes. Now Brewster knocks it on here. Gets past his marker. Up to the edge of the penalty area. Brings it into Rida Kadra. Scores! Sheffield United have won it in the last seconds of the match. And it's the substitute Rida Kadra who scores his first goal for Sheffield United. Swansea are screaming for a free kick, but Sheffield United celebrate a last-cast goal as Rida Kadra coolly slotted home after a blistering counter-attack. It was almost time, but in the nick of time, Rida Kadra's nicked it. Swansea 0, Sheffield United 1.
Well, what a first goal it was for Mr. Kadra, and he'd be absolutely delighted with that. No matter what happens in his career from now on, Ellie is going to be remembering that one, and it's going to be very sweet for him to look back, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. I love watching that goal. You never get bored of it. Just from the defensive tackle from Basham right up to, you know, putting the ball in the back of the net. He took the finish really well, nice composure, and the work rate from Brewster to get into that position as well was a real team effort. And yeah, Rida Kadra will be buzzing to get off the mark with that.
Well, Bash must have just loved that tackle. I mean, talk about timing. He got it absolutely spot on, because if he'd made a hash of that, well, we know what the outcome could have been, but he didn't. And then it was your man, Mr. Brewster, who provided one of the great assists, didn't he, Carl?
Yeah, I got a lot of stick for that because I was there with radio and I'm going, go on, Brewster. I was, you know, it was in the 5th minute of stoppage time and I'm in it. Go on, Brewster. And he's running so strong. So far, the defender's gone down and they're appealing for a free kick. But the bit I love is he showed composure. You know, you're in the final seconds of the match. You've done a great run. You've got every right to shoot and try. But he kept his composure and he knew his teammate had worked his socks off to get up with him. And he slid the ball over so unselfishly. Team goal. That's why I really like him in the team, because I know he gets a bit of a stick because of his goal stats, but his work rate for the team, the boy's so unselfish.
Well, it was vision and awareness, wasn't it? And, you know, you spoke of your enthusiasm for that. But, you know, as people who love the beautiful game, that was a beautiful goal.
Yeah, it was a great goal. As I said, from start to finish, it was just fantastic build-up play and great awareness from everybody involved. And as Carl said there, from Brewster, very unselfish play, which is great to see, because he had every right to take that on himself, having made the run that he did. But he slotted the ball perfectly and very calmly across the Kadra. So, yeah, that's what we want to see, attacking football all the time, and hopefully we'll see more of that today.
We talked a little bit about a notable anniversary last week. It was the 50th appearance of our goalkeeper, Wes Foderingham. Well, another man has his 50th appearance this Saturday, and it's Iliman Ndiaye, 50 times now for Sheffield United. And let's be honest, we don't really need much of an excuse, do we, to relive some fantastic highlights and some wonderful goals.
Foderingham gets his first touch of the ball here at Bramall Lane. In the 7th minute of the match, Rhian Brewster's jump, everybody missed it. Might come in here for Ndiaye, who breaks into the box, shoots and scores! It is the perfect start at Bramall Lane, as Iliman Ndiaye showed plenty of hustle and bustle to break through the Millwall defence.
Throw in from the left-hand side into McBurney. Can he keep the ball in play? It's going to come back to Berger. Comes off Ndiaye. I think it's Iliman Ndiaye who will be credited with the goal for the Blackburn man stood on the line, but crucially Sheffield United have that gap between Berger and Njai. They get the ball over the line. There's Njai, who will win the ball back in his own half. Needs some support with him. William Njai's going to go alone here. Can he round the last man to the edge of the area? Njai! Pick that out of the back of the onion bag. Won the ball in his own half, and Njai has scored a goal similar to the one at Fulham last season.
Now McBurney, lovely flick, and Lowe exploits the space. In it comes to Berger, helped on to Njai on his left boot. He then shoots and he scores! Njai scores at last here at Bramall Lane tonight. He had two good first half chances. This arguably was the hardest of the lot, and he's bent it beautifully with his left foot. And it's won back here by Njai, edge of the box, beats another man, shoots off the post and in. Sheffield United have taken the lead completely against the run of play, but in their first real moment of quality, Njai worked and weaved his magic inside the 18-yard box and then let one fly.
50th appearance coming up today, and wouldn't it be good to see a goal and some moments like that again from Iliman, because he really does bring excitement to the team. And look at the stats that he's produced. What do you think his biggest contribution is, Carl?
He's got everything. His actual control of the ball is the best I've seen. You know, he is incredible. The way he manipulates the ball, no one knows where he's going. He's got snake hips. He's pointing one way and he's running the other. I tell everyone to try and come and watch. Both my boys are here watching all the time, and I'm telling them to watch him because he's just incredible. But the goals, you know, this season he's come back so much stronger. And it's as though the belief in himself has grown, because even the last match at Stoke, he's done this shot from outside the box that's hit the post, inside the post, and hit the keeper, which could have gone in. Every match, he's given us a moment, a special moment, and he's just a proper talent.
In the time that he's been in the first team, I mean, you guys know more about this than me, but I mean, physically, he seems to be so much more of an entity than he was when he first came in. He looks as though he believes in himself, he looks strong, and he's prepared now to put himself into positions where he's letting other people worry about him. He's moved on physically.
Yeah, definitely, and that comes, you know, with confidence as well. He's putting himself in really good positions. He's a bit of a live wire, you know, he's always looking to get on the ball, and in terms of competition for places, you've got to put that energy into the team, and that's definitely what he brings. We've seen how good his footwork is, and with confidence, he's, you know, taking on one player, two players, three players, and getting strikes away, and that's what you want to see from your forwards. And
you can see by the way in which his teammates react to him, Carl, he's kind of a pivotal presence in that team. They look to him, and the fact that he is sort of that bubbly nature, he's a smiley sort of guy, you can see that others feed off him when he's playing well.
Yeah, and he's got an edge. You know, if you watch him, he will leave his foot in. He's in for the physical challenge. People, I'm not sure if they thought last year was a little lightweight and they try and rough him up, but now they do, and they always come off second best. And if there's an incident, like away at Luton, he's in there with the team. You know, this team is proper bonded. If one of them goes down and they're going to be in a fight, they're all around him, and he is an integral part of it.
Kick one and they all groan. It's one of those, isn't it? Well, it's good to see the fact that they are showing that team bonding and looking so good. Let's have a look to see what's coming up over the next week or two. On the 19th of October, we've got away from home, Coventry City, and then moving on there. After that, we have a home match on the 22nd. Well, we'll be coming on earlier. I should have said Coventry as well. We'd be on there at 7 o'clock for that match. This is an afternoon kick-off on the 22nd, Norwich City. So we'll be on air to bring you coverage of that from 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And then following on a week from that, we've got a lunchtime kick-off. So do join us early for that one, the away trip to West Bromwich Albion. Now, also, we've got the third kit, which is now available. You can pre-order it in adult, junior, or mini sizes, and then look to order it on the website. Well, before we go through the teams once again for you, let's delve into the archives and go back to 2015 when United got their last victory here at Bramall Lane against Blackpool. Goals for Billy Sharp and for Mark McNulty, and I'm afraid to say there was that infamous miss as well, which you're going to have to look at agonisingly again from Connor Salmon. Enjoy. Seven years ago, United winning 2-0, and I think we'd happily take a bit more of that today, wouldn't we? It'd be lovely to see United getting another victory. Well, are they going to do it? Who are the men who are going to achieve it? Well, this is the United team, which was announced just a little bit earlier on. And I know, Carl, that you've been looking at that one and thinking about who are the key changes, who's going to really have an impact. George Baldock back.
Yeah, I think he's a massive plus for us because he's had a great season thus far. His attacking purpose, you know, he's been so much higher up the pitch this season. His unselfish runs have been a distraction for the other teams' defences that have freed up areas in the middle for other players. And we missed him in the last couple of games when he's been out with the injury. Gives us more balance. Oz coming in on the left as well, up and down with his endeavour. It's a much better balanced team, and that should give the midfield more confidence in knowing where they trust the players. They know they can just play the ball out wide right and Boulders is going to be there. You know, when you change the team, sometimes you just don't play instinctively because you're not sure if you're going to be kicking it off if the person knows they're going to be there.
Osborne coming back in as well, and I don't know if we can just have that graphic back, just looking at the team that's been announced today, because Ellie, when you look at that bench, I mean, look at the names there, look at the strength there. Yeah,
definitely. You know, we've got Cadra on there, McBurney, who's been in great goal scoring form recently, Brewster, you know, the physicality and the work rate that you're going to get with him. And, you know, it's an interesting one when there is competition for places. There's also injuries and people might be restricted to certain minutes. You're not quite sure what, you know, the manager's thinking in terms of that. But in terms of having players that can come off the bench and make an impact at any point in the game, you know, when that's needed, you've got players we can call upon. I think it's fairly self-evident, Carl, that from the match last week, when you see the players there, the names who are there, there's going to be a change of formation.
Yeah, the change of formation didn't help us, of course, last week because it's away from the norm, but I still feel the team that we had, the formation we went with, we should have won. You know, I just felt we were playing two in front of them. If we went more direct, over the top and exploited the pace, they were there to be beaten, but that's gone now. We're back to our formation. The boys can get back on winning ways, I hope. Well, let's hope so. We've got now the Blackpool team as well coming up in a moment or two, but this is Blackpool's recent form, which had been fairly patchy, fairly sticky until that excellent win last week, Ellie. Yeah, it wasn't great to start with, as you can see the results against sort of Rotherham and Millwall and Norwich there, but in terms of confidence, they're going to be on a bit of a high after last week, and rightly so. You know, they've scored some great goals, a really strong 3-1 win, so they're going to want to carry that forward into this game, and that's something that we're going to have to try and, you know, nullify straight away. Any thoughts about their recent form, Carl? Yeah, the previous, the four, the Millwall match, the Norwich match, there's no disgraces losing those games. Then they stopped the rot with the game against Sunderland, and to beat Watford, they'll be fully buoyed with that. They'll be very, very excited to be coming here because this is It's a great place to play football. You know, they don't have the biggest crowd at Blackpool. They're only going to be playing in front of 26, 27,000. They'll be really up for this. And they'll be seeing that we're on a little, our results haven't been good, so they'll be thinking, getting amongst us, there could be something there. So they're going to come and, you know, ask some questions.
I'm sure there'll be a bunch of vociferous fans who have made their way down from the Lancashire coast, who are going to be hoping that Blackpool can replicate what they produced last week, and they produced a tremendous atmosphere for that one. The fans were absolutely delighted by what they saw, and this is the Blackpool team which has been announced for today's match. There it is. Any thoughts about that one? I tell you what, one guy just to look out for straight away was the goal scorer last week, Jerry Yates. Didn't he have a good match?
Yeah, he had a great game. You know, really got in amongst it, caused problems. Some fantastic finishes as well. So, you know, on a personal level, he'd be flying with confidence right now after that.
Michael Appleton people recognised how well he did when he was at Lincoln City, stabilising them, and he seems to be doing likewise with Blackpool now.
Yeah, he's a good manager. He's got some good players there, and for me, the one who always sticks out is Medine. I think he's a great striker at this level. Every match, whoever plays against Medine, they know they've been in the match. He asks questions of your physicality. He's a good player. I don't think he gets as much credit for actually how good he is on the ball. And, you know, he always does well against us. He puts in good shifts, so the boys will be well aware of that. And I think it's probably good that they know that the guy is out and he's going to ask questions, so they're ready in the changing rooms. The boys will know what's coming and they have to be up for the task.
So if you were Hecky, and he's obviously got the team, he'll be looking at it, he'll be going through it with his players. When you look at that Blackpool lineup, who are the weaknesses? Where do you think that there might be positions which can be exploited?
Do you know, it's one of them. Do you focus so much on the Blackpool team? Do you focus on what we do well? And, you know, we know that utilising the wide areas is a possible strength for us. You know, with Osborne and Baldock coming in, it's going to give us a different spin on the game to what it was last week. And I think ultimately, if we can be a bit more clinical in that final area, then hopefully we can exploit that sort of back line of the Blackpool team, if you like.
You go along with that, Carl?
Yeah, completely. I don't think this management look at the weaknesses of other teams as such and focuses on. I think they focus on how good we can be. And if we play to our strengths and we move the ball fast and we've got incredibly talented players. That's against Stoke away. We didn't play well, but we had moments of individual brilliance, if it were, because they are better than, it sounds so condescending, but I do believe our players are technically better than most players in this division. So one of our players shooting from 25 yards is more likely to score than the opposition. So if we play to our ability, we're capable of beating most teams in this division. I think that's what Hecky will be saying. Play your game, get back up your work rate and concentrate on your technique, and you should be able to beat your opposite number.
I guess you can't see too much looking behind me of the ground filling up, but they're flooding onto the Kop now. The lights have just come on as well. Winter is coming, but there is going to be a cracking atmosphere. And Carl talked earlier on about the way in which other teams might be lifted by coming here to Bramall Lane. Okay, we've got a bit of a fortress with having had these fantastic results on home territory, but, you know, I mean, this is a big occasion for this Blackpool bunch.
Yeah, it is. You know, we spoke earlier about the atmosphere, and, you know, when you don't have as big a crowd, you know, supporting the game, and whether you're home or the away team, the atmosphere in general is there to, you know, it gives you a buzz, or it kind of knocks you down. And, you know, for the Blades players, that's what you want. You want to, you know, we're going to try and encourage them. But for the Blackpool team, I'm sure that's going to give them an extra boost as well, because, you know, the atmosphere in general is just going to, you know, increase the adrenaline and get them excited.
But also, we're top of the league. We're there with the target on our back to beat. Their teams are coming and they are raising their games because we're top of the league. We were speaking with Ellie earlier. She's playing tomorrow away at home against the top of the league as well, and she was fired up saying, well, we want to win because we beat top of the league, we go top. And that's the mentality we're facing. We've got teams coming thinking, I want to prove I'm better than the opposition. The opposition are top of the league. That's what you're up against, and you have to raise your game knowing that people are here to prove you wrong.
We'd better give you the big plug for that one for tomorrow's match, Ellie. It's Bristol City, top of the table. Sheffield United win, Can United go top of the table if they win tomorrow?
Yes.
It's as close as that, isn't it?
Yeah, it is close. Every game in this league is close, but if we get a result tomorrow, we should go top of the league, yeah.
So what time's kickoff?
Kickoff's 2 o'clock tomorrow at Bramall Lane, so one to look forward to.
Right, okay, well you heard it. If you want to see Ellie playing with the Sheffield United team, real top of the table clash, bit of big crowd support would really give them a lift, so come down and watch, why don't you? And enjoy some of the resurgence, the development of the women's game here at, as they always said, and they still do say sometimes, beautiful downtown Bramall Lane. Well, time now for our SUTV exclusive, and it's with this year the 19-year-old on loan from Manchester City, James Mcatee. He came off with cramp in last week's match, but you know he's coming up from a lower level, from under 23 level, albeit with Manchester City, and knows that he still needs to develop his match fitness.
Oh well, yeah, it was just cramp. It was just a bit of tiredness from not playing for a bit, not getting minutes in, so I'll be fine for Blackpool.
Looking back on the game and your specific contribution, first of all, the cross for Rhian's goal, you've been really pleased with how that came about, to dig it out from quite a difficult area.
Yeah, I don't really know if it went out, I won't say, but no, it was good to be involved in a goal and to get back to 1-1, but unfortunately we didn't keep the lead just before half time. We conceded, and it's a big thing not to concede before half time, because I think if we got in at half time 1-1, it could have been a different game.
How pleased were you with your contribution though, because many people outside the club were quite impressed with the way you adapted to proceedings at the Bet365?
I think it's a step up from my performances. I think I'm getting there, I'm getting to my normal self, but sometimes I just like to be more positive and create more chances, and try and create more goals or even score some.
Tell us about the staff and their role with you and how much they've helped you adapt to the rigours of the Championship.
Yeah, they've all been amazing, even the backroom staff working on like little niggles and stuff, but Hecky, Maka and Jack, they've all helped me out every day on little things, and it's improving my game, so it's the best I could ask for.
Playing in the Championship and playing on a more regular basis now, how do you think that's helping your development?
Well, the Championship's a lot more physical than I'm used to, so I think it's just getting used to that and roughing me up really and making me a better player, so it's all good.
And in terms of your teammates, perhaps one of the more experienced heads in the side, how have they helped you adapt to life at Sheffield United?
Yeah, they're all amazing. Going back to that Luton game, even after that, a couple of them text me saying, just forget about it, head up and move on to the next one. I think that's the best advice I've heard.
Blackpool coming up next, how important is it to get back to winning ways after a couple of mini setbacks in recent weeks?
Well, yeah, we're hoping to get back to winning ways, get 3 points. So I think it's just head on and focus on the game on Saturday.
James Mcatee, highly rated at Manchester City. He's produced some fine form there, but how much do you think he's been finding it a bit of an eye-opener, the physicality and the demands of first-team football in the Championship?
Yeah, the away at Luton match, I think, was a big eye-opener for him, and that was a tough baptism. That away at Luton, it was land of the giants. They were up for the match, and it was a tough one. It's his first loan, you know. He's a Man City youngster, so he's got undoubted quality. His delivery into the box from wide, he gets the ball in early. He's got great skills, and it is his first loan, and he's going to physically develop along this season. So he's on a learning curve. It's been steep for the start, but he's got a good bunch of lads around him. Yeah,
as you took the words out of my mouth there, I was talk about the learning curve, and it is a steep one. And he's how impressed are you so far, Ellie, with the way in which he's developing? Has he still got a way to go?
Yeah, I'd say that's probably a fair comment. You know, as you're stepping into first-team football, that's different in itself from youth games. Obviously, the speed of it, the physicality, and getting as many minutes as you can at a young age is absolutely vital to development from all aspects of his game. So the best way to do it is, be thrown in the deep end, and hopefully we'll see him step up to the mark as he's starting to, get into a bit more of a flow performance-wise. And
playing alongside another loanee in Tommy Doyle, who was asked to look ahead to the Blackpool game, and he gave us his thoughts about that match, and of course playing alongside the man he knows so well, also on loan from Manchester City, James Mcatee.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I've known Maka a long time. We've played together before, and you know, for us, it's just about playing and enjoying it and winning. You know, I think we hold the same values as every other lad in the team who, you know, we just want to win. And you know, I think we're just all here to help each other and progress and win. So, yeah, for us, obviously, it's really enjoyable, and you know, I think from what you can see, we're both enjoying it. So hopefully, we continue that way.
Expecting a tough game this weekend against Blackpool, I imagine. They've had some good results recently.
Yeah, I think, to be honest with you, every game's a tough game, you know, but we have to focus on ourselves. If we do our things correctly, which maybe, you know, we haven't been doing in recent games, if we get back to, you know, how we've been playing, then, you know, I think that'll take care of itself. So I think it's just about focusing on ourselves and putting in a performance that we know we're capable of.
Has that been the message this week? Because clearly, you know, you're still in an excellent position in the league.
Yeah, I think there's just been little things, you know, that we haven't done as well as maybe we did at the start before the international break. Obviously, me included, you know, mistakes that have happened, and you know, like I said before, it's all learning. You know, so mistakes that we've made now individually and as a team, you know, we know. So it's about now doing things right again and getting back to how we were playing before the international break, really, yeah.
And what a bright lad he is, doesn't he come over well in those interviews? He's somebody who's very much got football in his blood. Mick Doyle, great name of Manchester City of many years ago, is one of his grandparents on the other side of the family, Glenn Pardo. So he really does know about football. He's lived it in that family. And how impressive is he?
I think he's a starter in our best 11. I think he's been wonderful. The way he integrates into the team, he's a great foil beside Norwood. He can play the simple ball. He makes great runs that frees up space, but he tries the forward ball. Everything, if he can see a difficult ball on forward, he's more likely to play that than a simple ball beside. He wants to attack, and I just think he's a great addition to this team.
Is it just me as a broadcaster and a journalist who finds people who can express themselves as well as he does so impressive? I mean, you look at him talking, it's almost hard to believe, Ellie, that he's only 20.
Yeah, myself and Carl were just saying that he comes across older than he is and more experienced than he is, and even in the way he plays, his vision and his pass selection, things like that, that comes with experience, but he's almost playing beyond his years in a sense, which is great for a young player to have that composure at this level. So hopefully he can continue to develop on that. You know, everyone makes mistakes, but the more game time he gets, the more quality I'm sure we're going to see from him.
I'm quite glad he is young, because when you look at him and the way he talks, he's only looking after our job before too long.
To be fair, I wouldn't mind if he gibbers the way he plays. You know, you can worry about his interviews. I'm just happy that he plays as well as he does.
He certainly does play very well indeed, which kind of neatly brings me on to thoughts about today's game, because you're going to be wandering off to do the commentary for us alongside Matt Young before too long. So before you go, and we'll hear thoughts of Ellie as well. But before we go, what do you expect? What do you hope for today? What do you think United are going to deliver?
I'm expecting a home win. I think it's going to be a difficult one, 2-1. But I think the fans are going to help us across the line on this one, because they're going to really be up for the fight, Blackpool.
I know, when I went outside and got out of the car, walking across the car park, in golfing terms, Ellie, it's sort of a two-club wind we've got today, at least. That wind, which is whistling down the ground from the Bramall Lane end, that's going to have a bit of an impact, isn't it?
Yeah, I imagine it would do, you know, difficult conditions. But it's the same for both teams, you know, so they've got to go out, put the work in, and it might mean that playing the ball across the floor is a little bit more impactful today than going longer with that wind, as you just mentioned. But I think Carl read my mind in regards to the score. Yeah. I was going to go for a 2-1. So.
You're both on 2-1.
And with the wind as well, I think Norwood with a wonder goal from 35 yards, wind assisted.
Are we going to need that talent-packed bench, do you think, Carl? Or is the team there that we've got starting going to get us into an early lead?
Well, I hope so, but I feel the manager this season has shown that he's happy to make an early substitution. You know, whether if we're 0-0 and Billy's run his socks off for 55, 60 minutes, we've got Brewster and McBurney, and I'd expect them to get good minutes today.
Big one for Hecky, isn't it? Because you could see and sense his frustration when we heard him speaking a little bit earlier on about the way in which that formation, which he was forced into in the match at Stoke, didn't come off. Now he's got some key players back, so it's a big one for him today.
Yeah, I mean, he mentioned in his interview that it wouldn't be the team that he'd particularly want to put out, you know, from the off in terms of what we finished with last week. But with players coming in, it gives them a little bit more flexibility, and going back into a formation that's probably more familiar for us will also play a role. So, you know, the more players Hecky has available to him, the more freedom he has to, you know, put a team out that he would be first choice, if you like.
Well, I'll wish you well, Carl. Enjoy the commentary. Let's hope that we do see some goals.
Yeah.
We'll hear a bit more from you at half-time, and you'll be reflecting on exactly how we have gone 5-0 up. But as well as the other guys talking about the team and the match coming up today, of course, there were the thoughts of the manager, Paul Heckingbottom, and he recognised very much that this is a great chance for United to get back onto the promotion track.
Yeah, every game's a good chance. That's how we look at it, but we also know every game you've got to be at your best, and you just said there, Blackpool against teams who've been fancied have had some real good results, and there've been no pushovers in any game, so we prepare the same. Like I said, it's been good that we've had a week together on the grass and been able to work, so we're looking forward to it. Well, like I said, we know it's going to be tough. We know they're going to pose us problems. We probably know they're going to do what all the other teams have done and try and slow it down. I hope not. I hope it's not as blatant and the referees let them get away with it as much. But part and parcel, they're not going to come and roll over for us. So we have to be ready.
Gary Medine off the mark as well for the season. You know, he's a player that wasn't at the club long, but clearly played an important role at a key time for the club, didn't he?
Yeah, and obviously played with some of the lads here as well, so he'll be chomping at the bit to play. Yeah, coming back to Bramall Lane as well. Different, you come back against an old club, you want to, regardless of your feelings, good or bad for an old club, you want to do well. It's one you look out for straight away. So, and they're a different type of team with him in it. He poses a different threat to the other type of forwards. So we have to be mindful of that.
So grounded as ever, the United manager Paul Heckingbottom looking ahead to today's match against Blackpool, which is coming up now in only around about 6 minutes. So hope you're going to be able to stay with us and enjoy that match. Let's hope that United do get that victory. But as you hear him speak, and as we've heard him speak earlier on, you know, he knows, as all managers have to, Ellie, that there's going to be ups and downs in any season. United have had a little bit of a blip, maybe from no fault of their own, through these injuries which have come their way, but he knows that there's going to be peaks and troughs, and let's hope it's going to move forward from here.
Yeah, I think the important thing to remember is, you know, we have started really well. We are in a really strong position, and that's important. We can still take confidence from that, and also from the fact that we are going to have more players filtering in, dripping back into the team as the injury situation improves. So, you know, have we necessarily gone through a blip in performance, or have we just been hit in a really bad way with injuries? It's probably more towards the injury side, I'd say. Yeah. You know, so that's also key, because things are affected, the flow of the team, the dynamics, the formation that we have to play, and that can affect results. So hopefully, you know, we can start to turn that around today, and with more players coming in, that's going to have a positive impact.
He'll know exactly how things have been going on the training ground over the last few days and the build-up to this. He knows his men, and he knows, I'm sure, that things are starting to come together again, as he would wish.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he said in one of the interviews as well that he's struggled to do, you know, a full training session, you know, personnel-wise, put a lot of the 23s in and had to do a lot of video analysis type training. So to have more players available to put the work in on the grass and really put things into practice is also important.
We know the United players who are going to be the ones to watch. Blackpool as well have got some key names, and we can maybe highlight some of them as we look towards those who are going to be perhaps providing a threat here at Bramall Lane today. I think Yates is the name that stands out.
Yeah, straight away you see Yates there, obviously off the back of last week, and we know he's a very creative and a player and has a really strong impact in that Blackpool team, and also Medine up top as well. That's someone else that our back three, back five, if you like, is going to have to latch onto, Ellie.
Well, we will see how it all pans out. We're not too far away from kick-off now. The players are going to be coming out onto the pitch before too long, and an emotional moment, I'm sure, for particularly the older fans here at Bramall Lane today as they look back at the career of Keith Eddy, who sadly passed away earlier this week. Sheffield United captain back in the 1970s, and I'm sure that there'll be a suitable tribute to that. But now I think it's time to cross over to our commentators for the match, who are today the man you've been hearing from in the last hour, Asaba, and the first voice next is that of Matt Young.